5, 4, 3, 2.
Hi, everybody. Dan Illman, Mike Beer, the DRF race of the day for Sunday, August the 9th. Race number 10 at Ellis Park. Let's throw up the field for the $200,000 Runhappy Ellis Park Derby. 3-year-olds going 1 1/8. It is the final Kentucky Derby prep for your odds-on morning line favorite, the 4 Art Collector, who has seemingly come out of nowhere, Mike, to become one of the better 3-year-olds in the country, certainly one of the fastest.
Yeah, he's been really impressive in his last couple of races in particular. And it seems like ever since they stretched him out, Dan, I think that maybe was the question at the beginning, but since they've stretched him out, he's only gotten better.
He likes to be close to the pace. I think he's adaptable to any kind of pace scenario. He didn't scare anybody away in the Ellis Park Derby. Lots of horses lining up to face Art Collector, and we expect some speed. Timeform US expects some speed. As we take a look at the Timeform US pace projector, red bar situation, fast pace expected, little menace. Gate to wire winner at Lone Star Part expected to be up close, if not outright on the lead. If I'm Art Collector, I think I would go, Mike.
Yeah, I mean, we'll see what happens. He's tactical, though, so I think they got to come out of there looking for a position and then just see what happens. I mean, it's a big field. So I wouldn't expect them to go a slow pace early in this race.
Down towards the inside, the number 1 Trident hit. You see him far, far behind on the Timeform US pace projector. He is stepping way up in class and adding blinkers off a runner-up effort at Indiana Grand. That was only a non-winners of one other than Optional Claimer, and it was not a strong field.
I mean, it wasn't. It's worth pointing out that the horse that won that race was claimed for $20,000 in his prior start, but he was claimed by Tom Amoss, and he ran a 93 buyer winning that race. So he really did improve. Trident hint, look, he's very lightly raced. He does not have a ton of early speed, but he does look like a horse who will stay on all day long. I don't think the distance is a problem for him. He's just going to have to improve. They're asking a lot of him in this race, I think.
Although the 2 Anno Deor is still a dirt maiden after 5 lifetime starts, he has some credentials, multiple grade 1 place, second in the Breeders' Cup Juvenile, second in the Losail Futuri. This is a horse the last time out in the Santa Anita Derby, Mike, he was up close to the pace. He pushed Authentic early. There was not much there for him in the stretch. But with the exception of Art Collector, he's taking a drastic drop in class. I mean, Honor AP came back to run a 102 buyer in the Shared Belief. Authentic came back to win the Haskell with the 101. Anno Deor, maybe he hasn't accomplished what they had hoped for him after his Breeders' Cup Juvenile performance, but he fits with these horses.
I mean, he does. He certainly faced a better field last time. And it wasn't, a terrible performance. He was no match for them. But it wasn't terrible. If he's 12-1 as the morning line has him, Dan, I'm not going to argue with this horse. I've just kind of seen enough of him.
Sproul, 2 starts back, got it done against older non-winners of one other than competition at Churchill Downs. They ran him in the Ohio Derby last time out. He ran okay. I wonder if the 1 1/8 is a little far for him.
We'll see what happens. I'm not that worried about the distance for him. I'm not going to sit here and suggest he was going to win the Ohio Derby last time, but he didn't get a great trip in that race. I don't really care for the ride that Paco Lopez gave him, and I don't think he had him in a very good position throughout the running of that race, and I think it cost this horse at the end. His win-2 back was actually quite good at Churchill Downs, and I don't think he ran that poorly last time. I think he's a player in here at a price.
Let's watch Art Collector's win in the Bluegrass. I mean, coming on the heels of a 102 buyer effort at Churchill Downs where he beat Shared Sense, who we'll get to in a little bit. He's outside. He's been prominent throughout. That's a very good filly on the lead, Swiss Skydiver. Art Collector's going to kick it into turbo here in the final 1/8 of a mile and just get away. It was a race where there wasn't a lot of closing.
It really wasn't. This race was dominated up towards the front. But listen, maybe they was just the 2 best horses up there. And Art Collector and Swiss Skydiver, and they threw it down in the stretch, and Art Collector was better, Dan. He has run 2 big races in a row. He is just way the horse to beat in here, in my opinion.
Necker Island, the number 5, was claimed for $100,000 2 starts back, and it was nice to see the connections get a good effort out of him in the Grade 3 Indiana Derby. He ran 3rd behind Shared Sense. He didn't break very well. I think this is a horse that doesn't have a ton of upside because this is going to be his 10th lifetime start, but 1 1/8 is no problem for him. He has good tactical gear, and maybe he can get another solid piece of the purse with an underneath finish.
Yeah, I mean, I think we sort of look at him the same way. I'm not a huge fan of his, and I don't think he has a lot of upside. He just kind of is what he is. He shows up, he runs his race every time. He can get a good trip in this race. I won't be surprised if he's in the try or the super at the end.
Little Menace took on Long Weekend, one of the better 3-year-old sprinters in the country, at Oaklawn Park earlier this year. Finally, Steve Asmussen had a chance to stretch him out last time out at Lone Star Park. Let's watch the race. Now, he was able to control a very easy tempo up front, but he shows a lot of heart and determination to win this race. Down towards the inside, finally getting away late. Now, the buyer didn't come back fast, 82. It's tough to get a fast final time figure when the pace is so slow. The 5th place horse in this race came back to win sprinting with a 95 buyer.
Yeah, I don't know. We'll see if he can take a step forward in here. I actually like this because I think he has some talent, and you know, his win was fine last time. It wasn't that strong a field. I actually like the horse that he turned away there in the replay we just watched, Sir Rick. I'm actually a fan of his. He's not very fast either. This horse is just clearly going to have to take a step forward in here, and I don't think that's impossible.
Truculent, the number 7's a little bit slow on paper, but I still think there's a question as to whether he's exposed. I don't think he is. He's 30-1 on the morning line. His dirt races, with the exception of the Champagne against Tiz the Law, are okay. And they ran him on turf last time out off of a long layoff, and he understandably got tired. Blinkers on. I don't mind this horse going 1 1/8. He just has to take a big step forward.
Yeah, I mean, I guess we'll see what happens. He does go out for a very good trainer. Jack Sisterson's horses have been running all around the country lately. And this horse, he's just really unexposed. I have no idea how good he is, Dan. I'd be kind of surprised if he was good enough to beat this field, but just the fact that they're here makes him interesting.
For the most part, Rowdy Yates has been placed brilliantly by Steve Asmussen. I am concerned greatly about this 1 1/8 distance for him. I think he's better at as a miler. I think he might even be okay as a 7/8 horse down the road. Last time out in the Ohio Derby, he was part of the pace. He didn't have it left in the stretch, and the pace is expected to be fast again.
Yeah, I don't see how he gets the trip that he needs in this race. And I agree with you. I don't really think he wants to go this far. And I think that was pretty apparent in the Ohio Derby last time. He really didn't have anything left in the stretch. I don't know how he lasted for 4th in there, but somehow he did.
Number 9, Dean Martini, beat 3 of these common foes in the Ohio Derby last time out. Let's take a look at that race. The jock made an aggressive early move along the inside. He builds up an insurmountable advantage at the 3/16 pole, and the wire comes just in the nick of time. Best of all, he improved his buyer speed figure 11 points. If he repeats that figure, this horse is right in the thick of things here.
Yeah, I think he is too. We'll see if he's going to be able to back it up, Dan. He ran really well in that race. He's clearly improved since Tom Amoss claimed this horse. He did get an excellent ride in the Ohio Derby, and that really did make the difference at the end of the day, but this horse has improved.
Attachment rate, the number 10, I think has some ability. I think he's very, very green. I think he's still trying to figure out the game. And one of these days, he's going to have a coming out party at a pretty good price. And maybe it's on Sunday, because I think the distance is very good for him. I think the potential for a fast pace is very good for him. He's just still learning the ropes. But he ran a fast race when behind Art Collector in the Bluegrass. And again, there was just no closing for one reason or another.
Yeah, I mean, you know, I think we agree that this horse has some talent. I do think he's a pretty good 3-year-old. I'll disagree with the distance for him. I've never thought that he really wants to go this far. I like him better going shorter distances.
I wonder if Winning Impression, the 11, has been exposed against graded stakes competition. He looked good winning over a wet track 3 back and was disqualified at Oaklawn Park. They ran him in the Arkansas Derby, one of the divisions. He ran okay in the Charlatan division. In the Indiana Derby, he didn't have a great start, but he really didn't fire. I guess he could take a step forward here, especially if the pace is fast, but he's going to need to improve in a hurry.
Yeah, he is. I'm concerned that he didn't run well last time, because prior to that, I thought he was really headed in the right direction. I'd still, at a big price, Dan, I'd still be willing to give him one more chance to maybe get a piece of this thing. I think this horse is okay. He just has to find a way to rebound out of a poor effort last time.
Shared Sense has put it together in his last 2 starts, but he was no match for Art Collector at Churchill Downs before winning the Indiana Derby. This is a lousy post position. I guess Florent Giroux's just going to try to tuck in and save as much ground as possible and try to come with one big late run. At least we know the distance well within his scope.
It is. He ran well last time. I mean, he got a really good trip and ride, I thought, from Giroux last time, but he actually ran well in there. He's just one of those horses who I feel like can get any kind of trip that he needs in a race. So that's a good thing. Can he take another step forward? I'm not sure, but if he does, he can get a piece of this.
Top pick time for the $200,000 Runhappy Ellis Park Derby. You're not interested in trying to beat Art Collector. He is way the fastest horse on the way in. He's got tactical speed, and you'll know him when they turn for home.
Yeah, I'm not going to try and beat him in this race. I just think he might be too good for these horses. I'll try and get some better prices in underneath him, though, particularly the number 3 Sprawl. I think he's going to run better in here.
I think if Art Collector is going to get beat, it's going to be Anno Deor. I think he's going to really appreciate this class relief after running against the likes of Honor AP and Authentic and Charlatan and Thousand Words, etc. But he's going to have to really step forward a little bit. He just, has not been able to put it together this year. 12-1 on the morning line, though, I believe, is a fair price for Anno Deor. Art Collector, the horse to beat. We'll see if he can win again and head to Churchill Downs is one of the interesting alternatives to Tis the Law and Mr. Baffert. Best of luck.